Pokemon is like a social experiment of how little effort a company can put into their product and still get overwhelming profits. You would think after suing Palworld that Nintendo would actually improve and innovate their Pokemon products, right? Right? Of course not. It's ironic that a franchise with the gimmick of evolution does anything but evolve. But you know who evolves? Me. So hit that like button and subscribe, baby. Let's try and get to 90,000 now. After the whole debacle with the Pokémon ZA, which was such a bizarre concept, by the way, let's just dump a ton of dangerous wild Pokemon and let them loose on the suburbs of Paris, France. Yeah, I don't think that's a good idea. And by the way, it shouldn't be named the world of Pokemon because you can't even leave the city. You know, Nintendo and Game Freak are so lazy that they require the gamer to use their imagination to play their games. They require you, the gamer, to close your eyes and imagine that you're actually in Paris when playing Pokémon ZA instead of the low-res poly images that you see on your screen. Yeah, and just imagine every building is like a real-life building in Paris. I mean, and the grass is real individual grass. You just have to close your eyes and imagine grass in your brain that actually moves, unlike the one in the game. But here's a reminder that the Pokemon company Nintendo would rather sue on the basis of patents to beat its competition than actually make a good game. But then again, who would support a company that openly spits in your face and tells you that you don't even own your games? Alright, that would be the Nintendo simp suckers. I mean, these guys are the lowest of the low. These Pokemon fans will lap up any slop shoved in front of them, as long as it's got the precious name of Pokemon next to it. These guys are the sole reason why we keep getting trash Pokemon games. They will pay any price for any piece of that Nintendo throws at them, and they will be happy and scream for more. What's funny is that their only argument for every single critique of Pokemon games is, well, it sold really well. If that's really all you can say, then that's really pathetic. Because like I said, the toxic positivity from these Pokemon fans really cemented the downfall of Pokemon. These weirdo fanboys are like, why can't you be grateful for everything Nintendo's doing? You should kiss their foot. Just like me, to any criticism on Pokemon on Twitter is just sad. Oh, on YouTube, they just can't stop crying. But you know what I'm grateful for, Nintendo fanboys? That would be ROM hacks. Oh wait, did I just say that out loud? I'm only joking. Definitely joking. Now, you know what's funny? Another thing these Pokemon fanboys say. I see this one sometimes in my comment section whenever I talk about Nintendo. This game is made for kids, not you. I don't know if that's supposed to be an insult, because I don't think these Pokemon fans realize they unintentionally call themselves kids. And you know what? The way they behave online over this IP, I kind of think they are kids. They're really stupid, at least. At the bare minimum, they've got a mind of a child. Anyway, the thing is, critiquing games like Pokemon is not only your right as a gamer, but it's a duty to you as a Pokemon fan or any game fan out there. When that Pokemon ZA bull came out, I remember I was one of the first people saying, if these people actually tried, I mean, think about it, the concept of an entire game taking place in one city could actually be interesting if the city was very large and detailed. Imagine having an entire underground system that lets you explore deeper into the underworld of Paris. I mean, think about it, make the limitation of it only being in a city actually to your benefit by making it as vertical and as deep as possible with different interesting ideas and themes. But why would Game Freak, the designers of Pokémon ZA, put any effort when you have these fans eating up the mediocrity? I mean, honestly, the UI in Pokémon ZA looked like something you'd see in a knockoff mobile game. It's like they don't even try. And something I found interesting was that Game Freak has like 250 employees, while other companies who have the same release schedule and budgets for their games have thousands of employees. I don't know what that's about. Cutting corners? Probably. Because of their laziness and Nintendo's arrogance, it really came together in that game. Just a perfect storm of trash. At the end of the day, Pokemon deserves to be challenged by something like Palworld, and a market with no competition is a dead market, and nobody wants that. Now, this news story came out a few weeks ago, but I still think it's very interesting because Palworld takes a red rag to a bull approach to his Nintendo's lawsuit, announces a two-player competitive card game. Oh, that's gotta hurt Nintendo, because Palworld's developers are just going for style points in a move that future legal scholars will surely brand as a matador approach. Palworld, currently embroiled in a lawsuit with Nintendo over its various similarities to the Pokemon series, is launching a trading card game. Now this fascinates me because I remember when Palworld initially came out, I remember the peanut gallery of fanboys making fun of it and saying it would never last. Meanwhile, me and my buddies were actually playing it and realized it had almost everything I wanted in a Pokemon game to have for years. They managed to give us that. Now, created in partnership with Bushiroad and releasing in July 30th of this year, the Palworld official card game is a two-player competitive card game where you can enjoy strategic and tactical battles throughout the deploying various unique pals, which so far you could swap out of the word pals for Pokemon and have a perfectly accurate description of Pokémon TCG. You know, I can see it now. Nintendo's army of Japanese lawyers who have nothing better to do than just find some obscure person who lives in the middle of Kansas who may or may not have a stockpile of ROM hacks. It's like, you know, you can't do that. We own the concept of card games. Actually, scratch that. We own the concept of games in general. You know what? Scratch that. We own the concept of life. Yeah, that's not gonna happen, is it, Nintendo? I mean, the Palworld developers really want to piss off Nintendo in every way possible. And I gotta tell you, I'm here for that. You would think that whatever Palworld is doing would be a wake-up call for Game Freak. I mean, that game, Palworld, really showed the potential of what Pokemon could be if they got their act together. You know what? Let's just keep it within Nintendo. In Zelda, you could create any contraption using rockets, flamethrowers, and more. But in Pokémon ZA, you can walk into a city and basically just bump into walls because every building is basically a JPEG. What these developers think they can get away with is just crazy anyway. But it is different, I promise. From the blurb, it sounds like base building will form a new key part in the whole world of Pokemon official card game experience. Much as you can in the video game, players fight alongside their pal companions, gathering resources and building bases as they aim for victory. I gotta tell you, I like that very much. See, the Palworld developers keep dunking on Nintendo, basically showing everyone what the Pokemon franchise could be if Nintendo gave a You know, now that I think about it, we should probably review bomb every Pokemon game until they give us an actual masterpiece. Anyway, and that's about all there is to know at this point, though you can watch a video where a bunch of different pals burst out of playing cards if that appeals. I suspect Pocket Pair will reveal more details according to its own schedule as the release date approaches. Now, by the way, a little bit of critique for Pocket Pair. It would be nice if the developers actually finished their first game before starting other projects. Anyway, with Nintendo going after Pocket Pair, claiming that the studio has infringed multiple of its lawsuits, newsflash, it hasn't. The move to announce a Pokemon S card game feels like Palworld is deliberately poking the bear. They're not just poking the bear, my guy. They poked the bear and then started flinging human dung at it while running in circles. There's a sight for you. Back to the article, which to be clear is probably isn't. It would be a phenomenally bad idea to purposely spit in Nintendo's eye while court proceedings are ongoing. I mean, really, is it a bad idea considering they've done nothing wrong? Because if anything, Nintendo is the one who completely overstepped their mark and made a complete and utter mockery of the entire court proceeding. Anyway, it's likely that Pocket Pairs had these kind of plans for a while. Perhaps even before Nintendo threw down the gauntlet. But you have to admit, intentional or not, it's quite funny. Yes, it's very funny. You know, it's got me thinking the only thing left for these Palworld developers is creating an anime for Palworld. Now that would be absolutely glorious. I can only imagine Pocket Bear just being like, oh yeah, this is gonna be hilarious. And on that bombshell, let me know what you think in the comments about this. Manix out.